start in about 2 minutes or so. So start settling in. And that's it. Thanks.
All right. Hello. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming out tonight to Udacity. We're really excited to have you here. My name is David Silver. I work on the Self-Driving Car Nanodegree program here at Udacity. And we are excited to kick off the March cohort. And we are especially excited to have Angela Klein from Bosch here with us. Angela is going to talk a little bit about the work that she does at Bosch, and then we're going to have pizza. So please stick around, hang out with us, eat with us, meet other people here, meet me, maybe Angela, stick around and have a slice of pizza. I'll do a very quick introduction of Angela. She is an alumna of the University of California at Berkeley. She is the project lead at Bosch's autonomous driving group. Bosch is the world's largest automotive supplier. They are a real force in the world of autonomous vehicles. Pretty much any car that you get into nowadays has some Bosch component and maybe many components made by Bosch. And they are one of the leading companies in self-driving cars and a hiring partner of Udacity's. So we are excited to have Angela here. She is generally a little bit reserved, so if you can kind of work with her on this, we're trying to bring her out of her shell. We're lucky that she agreed to come here and talk to you all at all, so please give her a warm welcome. Angela Klein.
Sort of set the stage, I suppose. Well, thanks, David. Hello, Udacians. Thanks for coming out tonight. Now I don't have to do my presentation because David did it for me. Told you about Bosch, told you about me. I'm good. See you later. Just teasing, just teasing. I recognize these faces from Intersect as well as some of the other student events, so good to have you here. Just going to start give you a little timeline history about Bosch. So Bosch was founded about 130 years ago in Germany, and Robert Bosch was the inventor of the spark plug. So he really got the game going as far as modern automotive technologies from there. Since then, as you see here, we got a stronghold in the States in 1906. The different divisions within Bosch under one roof again. So it is actually to this day the largest research facility for Bosch outside of our headquarters in Germany. So that's what we're doing. The research building? That is the bridge to the Stuttgart airport, but it's really pretty, so I put it up here. Actually, we have a lovely, lovely headquarters for our research and development in Renningen in Germany. And as far as chassis control systems, which brings us to 2011, which is when our autonomous driving division actually moved to a business unit from pure research into what we call advanced engineering. So we'll go into a little bit of that in the next slide, but nope, that's just a beautiful bridge with a great logo on it. Totally stole it. Anyway, so where do we sit today? So as David said, we are the world's largest auto supplier. So in every car, there's at least one Bosch part, if not tens of Bosch parts. We have over 390,000 employees worldwide. About 60,000 of those work in research and development. So it's a really great space. It's a really great opportunity within Bosch because we have not only automotive, but we also have home appliances, we have consumer goods, we have power tools, we have energy storage solutions. There's a lot going on. And I'm happy to stay afterwards and talk to you more about that, okay? Next one. Aha, we get to the reason why you all are here and why I'm here as well. So as David said, I am the project lead for the autonomous group here in Palo Alto. What does that mean? That means that basically my core function is to make sure our team has the tools and the people and the resources to do the research and the work. So I find myself doing lots and lots of PowerPoint and Excel so that our guys can do lots and lots of research. It's a fair trade-off. You wouldn't want me actually coding for you, so be happy that we have top-notch researchers. So we started our research in autonomous driving in the 1990s. Why don't you go ahead and play that little video here. It's in the other screen. Anyway, we'll get to it. What you'll see is in the 90s, it wasn't about hacking into the ECU and going for a CAN signal. It was really about putting an articulating robotic arm on a steering wheel and turning the wheel from there. So the video, once it's found on the desktop, will be, what you'll see is a collaboration between Braunschweig University, VW, and Bosch. The play button is a good button. Driver assistance system for those of you.
In the Volkswagen testing grounds, production and pre-production models are tested around the clock on very varying routes. One of these routes is known as the critical course. The strain to which cars are subjected here within a short period of time makes them age more quickly than they normally do. 10,000 kilometers on this course equates to a distance of 140,000 kilometers when driving in everyday traffic. This is not only fatiguing for materials, but also for test drivers.
Here's the good stuff.
In the course of developing driver assistance systems, it was Volkswagen's aim to demonstrate ways of relieving the strain on test drivers. The Autonomous Driving Research Project thus came into being. The object of the project was to examine how vehicles could cover the critical course independently without subjecting test drivers to the exceptional strain this entails. What features must a car have to enable routine journeys to be made automatically? First of all, the exact position of the vehicle must be known at all times. A satellite navigation system supplies the necessary information.
As you see, the technology that we use hasn't changed that much.
A number of sensors recognizes any
the
obstacles
technology has
there may
changed,
be
pardon
on
me,
the road.
but the resources that we've used
Several laser
haven't really
scanners monitor
changed.
the area around the car from the
So
front,
you have GPS,
from the right, from the left,
we have LiDAR,
and from the rear. They therefore cover the entire area surrounding the vehicle. An additional radar sensor and electronic cameras monitor the road in the direction of travel.
Okay, you get the
Volkswagen Group
picture.
Research Division fitted
Right.
a test car with various sensors to enable the position of the
Let me
vehicle
just
and
tell
any
you
obstacles
that a
to be
van
pinpointed.
used for test driving purposes is a luxury. It is a luxury. There's a lot of space back there. Now, your test car is much like
Several
our own,
laser
a new
scanners
sedan.
and a radar unit
You
on the
just
left in the
stop it.
picture.
Thanks. So we're going to go back to the full screen mode so that I can use this clever doohickey. So as you can see, we started in the 1990s with a robotic arm articulating the actual steering wheel. Then in 2005 and 2007, we also participated in the DARPA challenges. Now, you guys have heard the speeches. Sebastian has a way better movie than I do on it. In fact, I think the movie that I would show on it has him highlighted, for he was the winner. Congratulations. But we were also there. So it started out as a passion weekend project for our roboticists. And then in 2000s, we actually got to do proper research to get funding for it. In 2011, we moved to a business unit to do advanced engineering. What differentiates research and advanced engineering? Research has a pretty open-ended topic, right? It could go into product or it could not. By putting it into advanced research, Bosch has said, we are going to lead the way for safe, agile, and automated driving. So putting it into a business unit means that we get shore funding. Thank you. Thank you, bosses. Because now what we're able to do is work on more sophisticated systems. Those technologies that we utilized in the 1990s are now in the process of being refined. So as our group goes on to work on that algorithmic development for the AI, same stuff that you guys are learning right now, we're hopefully going to be able to get to this next video. Yep, clicking. Anyway, we're going to be able to get to this sophisticated system that's going to be able to anticipate our needs, the things of the future. Clicking.
Welcome to our vision for a highly automated car and its unique driving experience. Although it looks like your common everyday car, a host of smart new features ensures that driving is no longer a chore. It helps to reduce the load on the driver by taking care of highway driving. Philip, a young professional, has been using his new car for a few weeks now. The car has been learning from his routines and can predict destinations. On selecting the destination, the car allows Philip to optimize his time by balancing the share between manual and automated driving. As Philip sets off, he looks at the upper left corner of the instrument cluster, where the drive state indicator is located. It is a quick reference for the time left in the current driving mode. Apart from the regular navigation view, the split display provides Philip with an overview of his route. With this, Philip has a clear picture of where automation is available. He can access additional features with aid of the menu on the left. As he approaches the ramp to the highway, one of the maps switches to the top view so that he has a better view of his surroundings.
How many of you have used that exit
After
and
entering
thought,
the highway,
I
the drive
really
state
don't want to have to
indicator
drive
communicates to
home on the
Philip
280
that
right now?
automation is available. Also, 2 special buttons on the steering wheel start glowing. As Philip presses them simultaneously for 3 seconds, the car switches to automated mode. Philip can now confidently take his hands off the wheels as he knows that the car is in full control. With the free time in hand, Philip decides to get some work done and opens his office inbox via apps. For a better view, he moves the inbox to the top panel and goes through his unread messages. Philip can perform common actions by interacting with the on-screen buttons or with voice commands. He starts to dictate his reply to an email. It's not the same as working at his desk, but with the new car, Philip can be productive even while on the road. While on the highway, the car encounters a slower-moving vehicle in front and sees an opportunity to change lanes. It communicates its intention by displaying a visual on the instrument cluster and a notification on the central display. If Philip wishes, he can select this notification to access the top view and monitor the maneuver. Once the car has completed the maneuver, Philip can rate it based on common driving parameters. This helps the car to learn his preferences and to improve its motion behavior for better comfort. Having taken care of all the important work, Philip still has some time left before taking back manual control. He decides to relax and watch a few online videos. When it is time for Philip to take back control, he is notified in steps. With a few minutes left, the drive state indicator switches to orange, and then red, depending on the urgency of the situation. If Philip still doesn't take back control at this point, the car would find the next safe spot on the shoulder and pull over. Switching to manual mode happens in the same way as activating automation. As Philip presses the buttons simultaneously for 3 seconds, the car switches back to manual mode. On reaching his destination, the car provides Philip with some smart statistics on his journey. At a glance, Philip can compare the efficiency of the car in manual and automated modes, and also his savings. From being a mere mode of transport, the car has evolved to become a part of Philip's digital lifestyle. It allows him to be productive when he is on the move and can be relied upon for needs far beyond mobility.
All right, so that concept video is actually produced by our group and our human factors researcher as a vision for our possible future. In fact, it's very similar. So I was going to say very similar to the current test vehicle that we're using right now. But we have, I think that was one of the questions, you know, what are the vehicles that you use? We have several different kinds. Once again, right, we're a auto supplier. So we have to almost be automaker agnostic. So we have to be prepared to work in different systems and to come in where we're needed. So we drive VWs, we drive Teslas, we drive BMWs, and a few other cars as well. But let's talk more about our group. Once again, advanced engineering. So we have our localization group, which I believe will come in your next lesson set if you're moving on to the second trimester. Behavioral planning, right? Well, okay, obviously, I don't know where you guys are, sorry. Perception, that's right? Sweet, remembered. Perception, you know. What do you see? Where do you go? What do you do? That's what we're working on. Trajectory planning, HMI, HFI, so human factors, very important field in automated driving. How do you build trust? And mapping, because a detailed layered map is ever useful. So that's what our group's doing. Okay, just to give you an idea. So we've talked mainly about cars going on the highway, going in urban environments, but where are other automated vehicles? On the farm. So this is just an example of another vehicle, another company within Bosch called Deep Field Robotics, which is working on a agricultural machine that can do autonomous classification of plants as well as do weeding for you without pesticides. So these videos are super slick. I think you need to go into presentation mode. But if not, that's okay. And I'm happy to share any of these links with you. We can just move on. So, regardless, I'll send you that link. It's kind of cool. He goes around the field identifying different flora underneath the wheels, and it's kind of nice. So another reason why we're here, we are hiring. We have full-time positions in each of our disciplines. So mapping, localization, machine learning, deep learning, motion planning, just planning in general, actually, as well as software development and tools. None of those would be possible unless we had the right tools. So that's of equal importance for us. Yep, so that's it. Now we get to your questions. Okay? Did you bring some questions with you? I think Elizabeth's going to give you a game cube and pass it around. And in the meantime, I'm going to reference some questions that were submitted beforehand. So let's see. So the question from Sahil is, does Bosch aim to develop and deliver their self-driving cars related technology for developing countries? So that goes again to, we are a worldwide organization. One of the founding fundamentals of the organization is to do good everywhere, actually. I don't know if you know this, but Bosch is a privately owned company. We talked about the amazing amount of associates around the world. We're in 120 different countries. But 92% of our company is actually owned by what's called, well, I was going to try the German word, Stiftung, but, Stiftung, Dankeschön. Nerves, how it gets to me. Anyway, it's a nonprofit. Its core is to do good in the world and good works across the world. The other thing is that we are an automotive company, and we care about distributing our parts and leading the way with groundbreaking technology worldwide. So I don't see why we wouldn't aim to go and develop technologies specifically for these areas. Okay. Another question that we have here. Oh, where's the GameCube? Does someone have it?
Okay, yeah, I have it.
All right. Hey, Anna.
Hi. Like you mentioned that you work with different manufacturers, car manufacturers.
Mm-hmm. I think you need to love the cube.
Yes. And do you have any formal relationship, or you just use their cars? But do you do any system integration with their own knowledge and assistance?
Okay, let me repeat your question back to you, and then tell me if I understood you wrong. Your question is, do we do formal system integrations with automakers?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, Bosch in general does, yes, absolutely. Our group is a research and development group. So we get our own test vehicles, and then we try our systems out on it. Much in the same way you guys are developing on your own car, on the Udacity car, right? All right, who's next with the cube?
Hello,
Hello, what's your name?
Jay.
Yo, Jay.
I'm from Indonesia.
Nice to see you.
So, will Bosch eventually build, like really different looking cars? For example, like I would like to be able to, like exercise inside my car or something. Will that be somewhere in the future?
Car multimedia with you. Get fit.
Yeah. I mean, like.
Sure. So, that's the thing about Bosch. We work on every car out there, but we don't make a car. Make everything but the chassis, right? That's for our partners. Yeah. But if there is a demand enough for exercise equipment within the future vehicle setup tomorrow, that's a very interesting idea. We can talk about it later. All right, who's next? No fighting over the cube.
Hi. I was wondering if you could tell us the origination or the evolution of the partnership with NVIDIA.
So, in general, I can tell you a little bit, okay? So, Mr. Denner, who is our CEO, our G1, our fearless leader, was just at Bosch Connected World, which is a conference that Bosch puts on every year to bring together different AI technologies, different technologies in general. Anyway, what he announced was that NVIDIA and Bosch will work on a supercomputer for the car. So that's the latest one. Origins, I could come up with a sweet Marvel-esque one for you. But I think it's safe to say look towards the future and let's see what happens. Okay? All right.
Hi, I have a question regarding the concept video which you showed about automated driving.
Sure.
So there was basically a combination of human intervention plus automated driving. So do you foresee something as autonomous driving cannot be fully achieved and this would always be a combination of human plus automated driving? Or is Bosch also foreseeing something which can be fully autonomous?
Both.
Okay.
So both in this sense. You're familiar with the Society of Autonomous or Automotive Engineers, the SAE,
Yep.
and it's rating 1 through 5 for automated systems, right? So what you saw was a level 4 system for the highway.
Okay.
So that's why he was engaging and disengaging before coming on and off. But yes, we are actively looking at human out-of-the-loop technologies as well. Personally, I enjoy driving, so I don't mind that on and off switch. Okay, who's next? Oh.
So you're hiring for like motion planning software engineers.
Yes.
Is the plan that they're going to write that code and then you'll sell it to OEMs, or is it more just code that's necessary for building the components and sensors that will be sold to OEMs who have written their own software?
Very interesting. Okay, so once again, we are a automotive supplier, so I see what you're saying. Is the software going to be sold as it is, or is it going to be put into a piece of hardware that is then sold? And the answer is yes. Because we don't, it's true, it sounds so silly, right? But Bosch is known for making actuators and sensors and different tech, right? But we're also known for our system integration and the software that goes into it. So we need to be prepared, whether it's a single sensor or a complete system. And that's why I'm saying yes, both.
Do you like have any partnerships signed where you've got a system that's going to go into a specific car, or is that just kind of like you're preparing for the future?
I can't comment on any sort of partnerships. Yeah, no, just teasing, man. Come on. The eventuality is there. That we need to prepare and be ready to serve our customers in the best way that we can. Like our leading principle, someone asked this, what is your mission statement? What is your leading principle? And our leading principle is to lead the way, sounds so catch, right? But to lead the way for safe, agile, and automated driving. And that means developing everything from sensors to actuators to the software set. So prep like that from the start. Cool? Awesome. Hey.
Yeah, so do you compete with the OEMs? Looks like many of the stuff which you're doing, the localization, mapping, and learning, many of the OEMs are also doing that. So I'm just curious, how do you view this?
We love our customers, right? You gotta love the person who puts the bread in your basket.
Sure.
So automated driving is such a huge research problem that I wouldn't call it competition. Call it difference, right? We all have our different approaches. We all have our different ways to solve the puzzle. And that's where it is right now. That's one of the reasons that you guys are here. And we're super excited that you are getting on the bus and learning, because we need all the brain power that's out there, all of us, all the companies. It's not a solved solution.
Yeah, and the second question I have is, you're hiring a lot of technical people. Are you also hiring product managers and in that field?
As the project grows, we will. Currently, we're hiring for more technical positions.
Thanks.
Now that it's here, I'll just ask one question. So,
love the cube. Love the cube.
Okay. So, like being a Udacity student, what benefit does it give me compared to someone else in terms of hiring? Like, does it give us a leg up, or
Well, I would say
how do you see it?
How do I see it? Well, we are an equal opportunity employer, but I would say that the Udacity program gives you a wonderful foundation to get into the game. We know, because actually we have access to what you're learning, that what you're being taught is quality. And because we do have this interaction with Udacity team, who ask us, what do you need from our students? How can we help them? That I have confidence that what you're learning is actually quite important for what we're doing and the team we're building and as we're growing. Okay, we can talk more about that later.
Hi, thanks for coming here.
Hiya.
It looks like Bosch has a very safe approach to developing the technology. And what do you think about companies like Uber that are very eager to push the technology on the streets and to real life use?
I would say that I can comment on our approach, and it's not for me to comment on their approach. Our approach is that way because even though, the former director of NHTSA often talked about the amount of lives lost per day. Sebastian talks about the amount of lives lost per day. So we can talk about the 90%. And all of these companies, no matter their approach, are all working to decrease the amount of accidents on the road. Our approach is to be a bit more cautious. That could come from our roots, but that also just comes from the fact that we've been in the game so long. So, as we were developing ESP, and getting that system ready to go, it was the same sort of rigors and requirements that came out, just the way we are. Right? It's in our title, leading the way with safe, agile, and that. But I'm not going to comment on the other guys. Okay, who gets the cube?
Yep. Thanks for coming.
Hiya.
So I had a question. So you mentioned human factors, and HMI is one of the important factors. And Bosch being a German European company, do you find there any difference between the human factor requirements from a North American point of view and a European point of view? Like the driving styles might be different. Do you take into consideration during your development, or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was another question that came over before the session that talked about bringing the technology into other demographics. There is a lot of consideration taken in for the area and the style. It's one of those things where driving is not normed everywhere. Now, between Europe and North America, there's a bit more similarities than other places. So we can kind of see that, but we don't take it for granted. In fact, we have a human factors team in Germany, and we have a human factors team in Palo Alto, and they exchange data. It's about building the wider network, but definitely, you can't just take, San Francisco traffic patterns and go to Shanghai. It's not going to happen, right? Not going to work. People are going to have different usabilities, standards, maybe requirements, maybe there's a base. Maybe there is, but that's what our human factors team is looking into. Next.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Very, very interesting. Yeah. So I just wonder, which company you consider as your biggest competitor? And another general question, what kind of problem you think is the most challenging problem you face today?
Okay, so 2 loaded questions. Thanks, dude. Okay, so who are our competitors? Who's out in the market? You know, you can look at it like that. We talked about the cooperative spirit and how big the research problem is right now and how there's space for everyone. But sure, you can do a Google search and find a list.
Yeah, since your company is a private company, like if the company is on the public market, we can very easy to look up which company are their competitor, right?
Actually, if you wanted to look in the self-driving car market, you could go to California's DMV, because every car company or startup who would like to do testing could possibly be listed there. Not mentioning the startups or the ones who do on private land, but you can find it there. I myself, by the way, am a licensed test driver. And what I like to call, so safety test driver, yes. You have to be able to take over the car on a moment's notice on track or in high-speed situations or in urban situations. So I'm trained for that. And I have my autonomous driver's license as well. But I like to call it pilot's license. Yeah, it's autonomous pilot's license. Second question that you asked was more complicated. And you talked about the most challenging problem that we face. Most challenging problem I face on a daily basis is how not to let my foosball score go down. I am right now at -21. It's a bit humiliating. I'm just teasing. You know, there's so many open problems. We talk about, we think just about the different facets of the research that still needs to be done. You know, is it charting bad drivers? Is it getting to know a demographic outside of North America or the Bay Area? You know, the HF human factors things. Is it charting good driver behavior and how to do that predictably? There's a lot of challenges, but I think the main point is to be open, to recognize, to do the proper systems requirements, to look for the edge cases, and then do your research. Be open about it. Go after those problems. I'm surrounded by researchers every day, and they tackle their problems with finesse and grace. Sometimes brute force, but a lot of time, it's about talking it out, sketching it out, working on it, and just rinse and repeat.
Hi, Angela. I originally had a 2-part question, but your answer gave me a 3rd-part question.
Oh!
Let me start with the 3rd one.
Dun.
You say you are a certified test driver.
Yo.
I'm a performance driving instructor. What's required to become a certified test driver?
We have to take classes. We have to go on the track. We have to get scared out of our minds. And then we get a chance to do it back. Awesome. Yeah, a couple of advanced driving courses.
Sounds awesome.
Okay. It is awesome. I'm just telling you.
Part 2, how many people currently at Bosch research here in Palo Alto, and what's your projected forward growth?
Okay, in general on the entire campus. So right now we're about 200 people, the entire campus. We also have, by the way, 2 other research facilities in the States now. We have one in Pittsburgh and Cambridge, Massachusetts. So Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Cambridge. Both are hiring as well, so I can tell you about that. In our team, we're about 25 here and 35 in Germany. And we work on so we have a sister team. And we also have colleagues in Michigan as well working on another facet. So we have about, I would say, close to 90 people working on the topic. So, yeah.
And the first primary question, getting back into since Bosch being tier 1, working with the automotive manufacturer. My question is regarding the function allocation in terms of system integration, traditionally how it has been, and then now with the new developing autonomous driving, where's the delineating line potentially?
How do we divide the labor between systems? I would say that is a trade secret. Can't say it.
Okay.
Nah, I'm teasing. What I can't tell you is an exact outline of how it would go. It could change, and it has changed sometimes between different partners. So what the basic part is that we look for each other's strengths.
Okay.
And then, it's easier to say than saying we both go bad.
Gotcha. So based on particular manufacturer, they might have strength, and which then they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Bosch will take care of.
That is the
systems.
adult answer. Good
Gotcha.
job.
Okay, thank you.
I think the point is that you can throw it. Oh, okay. I mean, I was wondering what's the point of this, but I think that's the point.
Martin, you got it.
Okay, so my question is.
Okay. No worries, Martin. It's you first.
So I'm actually watching this video of the projected future driving with this vehicle. I found it actually very interesting because I didn't putting myself into the position of the driver. I didn't actually feel comfortable with how it was happening. So I was wondering the task of doing UX research basically for how do you make half autonomous, because I see it much easier to have a fully autonomous vehicle where you sit in a different way, where you're like not always in the position of being the driver, like you're clearly not the driver.
Right.
But I think the task of making this transition feel in a way so that you're not uncomfortable while it's autonomous is like a very interesting challenge. So my question is, what's the UX work on that end?
You hit the nail on the head. We talked about demographics earlier and different areas, but yes, that's one of the things. Driver trust, passenger trust, right? And it's an open human factors in UX question. So there are studies being done both to chart out different timings and different ways to make someone or enable someone to be more comfortable. So that data, it's an ongoing research problem with different people executing in different ways, right? So there's no said or perfect answer for that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, who gets throw it? You think over? I'm here representing. Nope. Come on over here. Come on. I'll share. I didn't.
Pass the mic back and forth. So I'm here representing the online audience. We had a question. Hopefully you can speak to this. It's okay if you can't. From Robert and Cristobal in the YouTube chat right now. They both had questions about if Bosch is working on vehicle-to-vehicle technology right now. So basically vehicles talking to each other in traffic and what that might look like. I have a couple other questions, but maybe we can start with that.
Okay. So Robert, no, I'm just teasing. I'll try to answer. Many different. I mean, you have to understand a company that spends $7 billion on research in a given year looks into a lot of different topics, including this one. So yes, how it looks like. I can sketch you a picture. It could possibly be it, but I can't give you a definite answer. Did you get your cube working?
Yeah, I have the cube now.
I'm super excited
now
for you.
You can't see me on screen anymore. Yeah, and the others were questions surrounding hiring, which hopefully you might be able to answer too. So I'll just kind of give a little list of them.
Give a little list.
One student who was interested in research and development, so he was just wondering where that's based for Bosch, like geographically. Another student was interested in knowing if Bosch would consider hiring self-driving car engineers who didn't have a PhD background. And then 3, if Bosch would consider hiring an older software developer, someone who isn't in their 20s or 30s.
Okay, let's start with the last one first. We are an equal opportunity employer. And this goes, again, to answer the second question about PhD. For a given role, if you have the technical skills to hit it out of the park, I don't care where you're from, what your background is. I just care that you can do it. And that goes for my colleagues as well. So, equal opportunity employer, we don't discriminate on age. We care about your skill level. So if you can contribute on a technical basis that would help our project move forward, fantastic. Either way. As a researcher, it depends. It depends what your background is there, if only because of, once again, it's a technical basis. So if you have your master's, but you don't have your PhD, and the reason that you don't have your PhD is because you wanted to go and work in industry and drill down there, as you would have done had you gone on to the PhD, that's still fine. Once again, it comes down to technical level. As far as the locations that we're hiring into, now I represent the Palo Alto team. And so that little slide that you saw before, I don't remember where I put the remote, so let's just pretend I said we're hiring in every little division that we have. Well, we're also hiring that way in Germany. So our Albstadt office would also have it open. Albstadt, or Weihingen. A-B-S-T-A-T-T. It's a suburb of Stuttgart. Okay? There's lovely vines. It's beautiful. We also have colleagues in Michigan who are looking for some researchers and developers as well. So it just depends where you would like to be. We have application and implementation teams in Australia as well. I can't say that I know their listings off the top of my head, but there is something there. We have colleagues, I believe, also in Japan. But once again, there's a career site. I'm happy to show you, tell you, point you to where you might like to be.
I'm going to hop in here again.
Yeah.
So let's go for 5 more minutes, so maybe 2 more questions, if that sounds good. And then we'll release everyone to the pizza.
There is food, guys.
Those who are here in person. I'm going to travel back here. I see a couple.
Thanks. Since you're very close to the car manufacturers, a question for you. With the recently released collaboration we have with NVIDIA, with the Drive PX platform, what's the earliest you think that will be brought to the market in an actual car? I mean, of course, given that the cars typically, the product life cycle, planning life cycle is typically anywhere from like 3 years to 5 years, or maybe even 7 years for a commercial car.
No, I must say that is far beyond my vision right now. So I can't give you a straight answer on that.
Okay. What do you think, I mean, are you also working on robots that you said are for non-passenger vehicles, such as, like delivery robots or, farm equipment, etc.?
The farm equipment, yes. The Bunny Rob from Deepfield is one of those unmanned autonomous agricultural vehicles. So they'll do autonomous phenotyping, so checking out what varietals might be going on underneath them, looking for weeds, pulling the ones you don't want. It's already out. I think they might still be in research, but if you want to know more, you can go to deepfieldrobotics.com. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Our group is focused on passenger cars and autonomous drive systems there. Hi.
Hi. You mentioned earlier that your team is about 25 people.
Yep.
And you mentioned the company was 200 people here in Palo Alto. So what do
Yep.
other people do?
So what do other people do? Well, let's start the song. We have energy storage solutions. We have battery researchers looking at charging technology as well as cells. We have MEM sensors. We have sensor tech. So if you guys have phones, you probably have some Bosch sensors. Let's see, who else? We have car multimedia, so they're looking at the actual UI within the vehicle. We have IC, so integrated circuits as well. Let's see, who else did I bother today? Who else is up there? Yeah, and ourselves. So energy storage solutions, energy creation, no. We have a whole bunch of groups. Our own automotive groups, BEG, which is Bosch Engineering Group. So they're the guys that work on smaller quantity automakers and stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
That was blathering, sorry. All right. One last question, I guess, because someone's hungry for pizza.
I think we also have one.
Was there a new question asker back there?
I would just make it very quick.
Okay.
The HMI developer positions, is this also in Palo Alto, or this is still?
These are all in Palo Alto. So all of these positions, right now we are expanding our team. So we're looking for awesome developers to join us. So one question that I didn't get tonight that I would like to tell you about is, what are we looking for? What's really important to us? We talked a little bit about the self-driving nanodegree and how it's a wonderful foundation. I mean, it shows a lot that you guys, in your spare time, are looking to really upskill yourselves. That's awesome. That shows gumption, and that shows the go-get-it attitude that we really need, right? Open research problem, we need to find solutions. We want people like you. So what do we need? So let's go through them. So camera and computer vision. What do you need there? Well, probably like OpenCV, right? Python. You see deep learning, you think Python. Machine learning, you think Python. Motion planning, localization, perception. Now, the second phase of your nanodegree will focus on robotics and C++ and localization and mapping, and those are paramount. If you want to go into any of those things, in fact, even if you want to do development or deep learning, a strong backbone in C++ is very necessary. So if you're a C programmer who is working on embedded boards before, that's great. Use the knowledge, but really get to know C++. It's probably the #1 thing that we look at for our developers, and it's also necessary for our researchers. Okay?
How about HMI in general? I don't see anything specific to HMI in these positions.
There isn't in these positions.
So there's nothing for HMI in Palo Alto?
We aren't currently expanding on that level.
Okay.
That might change in the future, but if it does, I'll be sure to send out a wire. These guys are like firestorm when it comes to it. Okay, there's yep, throw the cube. Just like a kid, 1 more means 10 more. Gonna get the hook soon. Hi.
Okay. So my question is, in the video, we often see the switch from autonomous to human.
Yes.
So the human can handle the edge cases. Is there currently any work done on the reverse, where let's say that the vehicle is in danger and there's not enough time for a human to react, that the autonomous car would take over?
Yes, actually. The reverse. I believe there is open research. But I can tell you right now, our current plan with that is to do what's called a safe stop. So the human can't react fast enough, and so the car in autonomous mode would then go to a safe stop somewhere, stop its motion. Okay. Hey,
Thank you for explaining about.
Sorry, Dave. I just,
No, I think this will be used. I'll try to make it very much useful for everyone who is listening then.
Okay.
Right? So, would you mind going through all of those open questions and list down what would be the most critical thing which you'll be looking for apart from C++?
Okay. Camera and computer vision. Your ability to use your knowledge in camera and computer vision and apply it to other sensors as well. Okay? I'm just going to say it once again, C++, more C++. Deep learning, what research have you done? Your experience there, your implementation of it. This is where your projects become super important, okay? How does the self-driving nanodegree set you apart? The fact that you can give us some portfolio base, okay? And the ways that you go beyond what is asked of you is another thing. Not just that. Machine learning, same thing. What's your experience in the background? What have you utilized machine learning for? Motion planning, again, your work, C++. Localization, the same. All of them come down to the same thing. The one thing that I will say that's also different, we utilize computer vision within our perception suite. And that's why it's super important to tell us about the different sensors that you are currently using, how you combine the data, what you're going to use it for. We use machine learning techniques and deep learning techniques for all of them. So you sort of touch everything. So tell us about your experiences. Quantify your experiences. And then when we ask, tell us your story. I'm all about stories. Stories rooted in fact. Okay, I guess that's it because the big hook is coming out. And apparently I've overstayed my welcome. No, but thank you guys so much for having me. I'll stay around for a few moments afterwards and you're welcome to ask me more questions. Flo, I definitely got your email and yes, I'll get that. So thank you. That's it.
Well, big thank you to Angela for coming out to talk with us tonight. It's not everybody who wants to come out at dinner time on a Monday night to talk about self-driving cars, so we are grateful. We promised you and we delivered. There's pizza. Before we get to the pizza, I wanted to take a quick moment and introduce all of you to some of the folks who work on the self-driving car program. You get to see a lot of me on camera, which is important because of my natural charm and good looks, but we have a lot of folks who make the program possible, and so I'd like to invite them to come on up, and you can see who some of the folks behind the scenes are. Lisbeth is not coming on up. Come on up, Lisbeth. Dom, Brock. All right. So we have about a dozen people total, not all here right now, but I'll introduce Jessica Lulovics. Jessica is our team lead. She makes sure that all of the emails go out. She makes sure that when you all have questions, they get answered. She makes sure that all the notifications that need to go to our higher-ups go there so that they don't pull our funding. Brock is our deep learning expert. He taught a lot of the TensorFlow material, and when I botched things, he ran behind me and kind of cleaned it up. Dom is another deep learning expert we have who's working on controls now. He's worked on computer vision. Dom wrote MiniFlow. If you all have taken or built MiniFlow and enjoyed that, that was Dom's work. And Lisbeth is our community manager. You'll see her on Slack and via email and in live chats, and she makes events like this possible, and we're grateful for that. So thank you. There are about 10 more of us kind of scattered around. Not everyone's here tonight, but it's a big effort, and we hope that it turns out nicely for you, and ultimately that if you want a job, it helps you find a job working at places like Bosch. And so with that, we appreciate you coming out tonight. We want to thank you, and we want you to eat lots of pizza. So we'll dismiss and go eat.